Yay, thank you. I'm usually the one
Pleasure.
that forgets, so okay, you guys fine. Okay. So welcome to our meeting. We are not a lot in studio today, as you could hear. We are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're about 10. So not a lot, but that's fine. Okay, just a reminder, next week, Wednesday is Pixel Playground again. Okay. Then, as promised, we're gonna try and do this every month, is have a speaker about something, and that will be a surprise to everyone, including us, because we haven't planned it out front. So, Wynand, as jy vir ons kan, nee, sis nou. Bring jou koffie, ek kan dit hier sit. We're starting now. This is formally started. No, no, I'm putting you up first. Okay, so Wynand is just going to speak about 2 outings, that is possible outings for people to consider. Okay, so the first one.
Hi there, everybody. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, can hear you.
Thanks, Des. Jan, myself, and Mark went out to the Bangladesh market the other day. It was an event that was organized through one of the Durban Oaks down there, and it was actually Fujifilm that organized the morning out. And we were about 45 photographers out there, and it was just an amazing, amazing morning. If you go to the next slide there for me, you can see what we were able to get there. It is just raw, absolute emotion. It was really just getting into very, very nice street photography in a safe environment that was just, we were able to take photographs of people that just in a natural environment, in a market related environment, and it was just absolutely amazing. From on the left hand side there, you guys can see from the parking lot that was coming into the venue, and then on the right hand side there, that's one of my first photos that I took, was just the sheer amount of people and produce and the smells and it is just an absolute amazing place to take photos at. Yeah, there's just some more photos of just the people around there. They really don't mind us taking photos. There was a couple of people that did complain about it. Didn't complain about it, but just asked that we don't take photos of them. And then you just move on. I mean, it's like normal street photography. And but I promise you, every 2 meters that you walk, there is a scene that you can either take photos of the people, of the produce, and it was just a magic morning out. There's just some more photos of the vendors that was out there, and very friendly, amazing food and stuff that they're selling there. So just again, yeah, just the different photo opportunities that's out there, and it starts at 8 o'clock in the mornings on every Saturday morning, and just open to the public. There's a parking lot right across the road there with security guards, and once you go into the venue itself, there's security guards at the entrances. So very safe. I really, at no point here did I feel unsafe at all. It was just a magic experience. And then, yeah, there's just some more photographs of the vendors, of the produce. Like I said, yeah, going black and whites there, just the raw emotion of the place. I think that's what made it so special. Yeah.
I want to ask, when you went, if the market is in front of you, what side did you enter? Because we kind of, when we went last, we weren't sure where do you go.
We came through as you get out of the parking lot. On the right hand side, there's a main entrance. On the left hand side, there is this is not, yeah. The place is very raw, guys, and it's on the left hand side. They've got a slaughterhouse, and you've got to understand where these people are coming from, and they've got live chickens and stuff there that actually get slaughtered on site there. It's not in. They've actually got a slaughterhouse section now. Leon reckons when he was there last, it literally got chickens head chopped off in the middle of the.
Okay, so it's more to the right hand side going around.
So if you go to the right, you will find an entrance there, and it's very safe. Security guards, stuff like that. And then as you move towards the left, then you get to where the chickens and the stuff is on the side there.
And ask them if they might their photo be taken or you just said.
I was shooting 7300 here, and so I was able to get away from the people quite a bit, and that's why you can see a lot of these photos were taken without them really even noticing that I was there. Some of the guys were shooting 35 or 50 more, which they had to get in quite close, and most of them didn't mind. It is always nice just to make a bit of contact, make a bit of chit chat with the people, maybe buy some produce from them. I came out there with a whole bag full of stuff. But I think that's what it's all about, is supporting where you are and just respecting where you are as well. Respect the people that you're photographing. And there is some people, Mark, where's Mark? Yeah, a couple of people said they didn't want their photographs, and respect that and just move on. But yeah, Sandra, not a lot of them were complaining. That actually, some of them just loved it. Absolutely loved it. There was this one lady there in the middle, that one in the middle. She was posing away for everyone, and she was chatting to everyone, and it was just, it's really, really a nice experience. Going there on your own, yes, if you've got a lot of confidence, it's nice going on your own, but I would recommend maybe 2 or 3 people going together. It's just, the area itself is not bad, but just bear in mind that you are in South Africa. Yes, yeah. Okay. And that's just, we're going to be putting this out on the web,
on the website,
on the website. Thanks, Des, for that. And then there's just safety stuff, do's and don'ts, stuff like that. Just interesting little things about it and where it's about, and so yeah.
Well, if you say the market opens on Saturday, it's like on Friday mornings.
Is it Friday mornings as well? Sorry, Mark, I wasn't, sorry guys, I will amend that.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Friday mornings as well. Okay, brilliant, yeah. Anything you want to add on that, Mark? Good.
About this is that it's very close to the Hare Krishna temple.
Yes.
So you can take this in the morning and do the temple in the afternoon or something like that. And the temple is well worth going to. It's
yes.
Really,
we actually.
I almost want to say, Leon, if you maybe not next month, we already have a plan for it, but maybe the following month, do like a quick one on the temple. Yeah.
That'll be. We actually went to the temple. Absolutely amazing. Really amazing. And like you say, it's about what, 2 days down the road, 2.5 days, not even.
And the temple's right high on the hill, so you can see it.
No,
and they've got lovely food there.
Very nice food. They absolutely loved it when we came in there with the cameras. Everyone was very accommodating there as well. Yeah. So well worth it. Thanks, Leon. Yeah.
So try and find a day when we should have that sort of altar area.
Yes.
It's closed up with fencing.
Okay.
With security.
Yeah.
So you should try and find a day where they actually
open it. I think it was open the day we
was it?
No, so they're across.
Your gates across it.
Cross it, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, and that's about it on the Bangladesh markets. Yeah, if there's anyone that wants any more information, please shout. I mean, I can give you some info on that, and we'll have a chat to Heidi and make an impromptu type of outing there somewhere through the course of the year. But we'll have a chat to Heidi about that. Yeah, perfect. And then my absolute highlight of the year is always the Tamil Temple down in Maritzburg. This is a event that happens on Good Friday every year, and it's where they do the firewalking. They will do the piercings, that they do the carts. They pull the carts with the hooks through their bodies, stuff like this. This is a very religious experience, and you've got to, when you go there with a very open mind. It is very loud. There's a lot of people. It is genuine. I've got goosebumps standing here. It's just a different experience. The people there were very accommodating. Once you're into the grounds, it's just a lovely experience overall. And you can flick through some of the photos that we got there. It is just, you can see all the piercings and stuff that they've done there, and they start this event. The people start gathering at about 12 o'clock, but the main event will start around about 4 o'clock. They started very late this year, so only started with the march or the procession at about 5:30, which was very, very late for this time of year. So the light was horrible at that stage already. But before that happens, it is amazing. A lot of people asked us to actually take some photos of them. It was, and just yeah, the spiritual experience of being there and being able to document what happens there. But they, more than the Bangladesh market, this is respect. You know what I'm saying? Respect where you are, and if there's anyone that doesn't want their photos taken, or a lot of the people will get the piercings live. Some of them do take something for it, but some of them actually put that stuff straight through without taking any medication or anything. So it does become, yeah, it's you can see on their faces the experiences that they are going through. But absolute must, if you're into something like that, it is photo opportunities and being able to document.
How many photographers were there?
Only me and my dad.
Oh, okay, so there was no one from, okay.
No one else, yeah. Right, you can flick through there. Right, there is, in the middle there is at the fire pit. Now, it's impossible to get to that fire pit. I promise you, there was probably about 10 deep standing around the fire pit, literally crowding that whole fire pit area. On the far side there, that's a hospital there, where you can see the people actually standing they've got a beautiful view on the fire pit where the people are walking. It is absolutely phenomenal how many people. This is inside the temple itself. So you actually access through the main entrance, shoes off, and then you actually go in.
Okay.
I guess that's just another thing is when you do go there, a lot of the places are shoe-free zones type of thing. We just need to kick your shoes. What we actually did, we left our shoes at the temple and we walked barefoot the whole afternoon. It was actually lovely. Yeah. Yes, no, there's thousands of shoes. I promise you.
Take any pair on your way out.
Thank you. Yeah.
You just don't wear your new pair going there. You should be all pair.
On the right-hand side there, you can see the guys where they're actually pulling those. I mean, that guy is pulling that whole, I don't know, shrine, chariot thing on hooks.
Only one person.
Only one person on that one. Yeah. It was phenomenal. But there you can see how dark it was already, and it's difficult taking photos there, but it's very, very nice. The experience that you do get from there. Yeah. Cool. Right, there we go. Some more piercings. This guy on the left-hand side here, he was actually one of the guys doing quite a bit of the chanting and stuff. I think there's one photo of him doing a bit of chanting. That guy on the right-hand side, he was also one of the guys who was actually pulling one of the chariots, and he was really getting himself hyped up for the whole event. It was amazing watching him doing his thing as well. Yeah, this is on the left-hand side there. That was a beautiful late light just before the whole thing started. And then both the ones on the right-hand side is as the procession started, where they were actually moving through. They move very, very slowly, and you can really get absolutely amazing photos as they're moving through. And then yeah, that's about it, guys. Thanks for allowing me to show you some different opportunities that's out there, and we don't get safe spaces in South Africa to really do some street photography, and both of these places are absolutely amazing. On the last one, the safety factor there going in is not that great. Once you're in, it's fine, but the vehicles stuff was a little bit of an issue. We didn't have any issues, but there's no way that you can get parking anywhere close by, because they cordon off the streets completely for vehicles. And but yeah, if anyone's keen next year, this is absolutely
Please
amazing.
let us know. I think put it on the banter.
The temple itself is also worth visiting, even if the festival is not on. It's absolutely worth visiting. It's a beautiful temple. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Vainan.
Interesting.
How far did you have to walk?
The whole, from where we parked, probably about a kilometer to the main event, probably 1.5 kilometers to the temple itself. So it's quite a walk that you need to do to get there. But once you're there, it's everything is within about I would say a 500-meter radius that you can get the photographs and stuff like that. Inside, not at all. Outside, it's a different world. You know what I'm saying? It's the bottom end of Maritzburg. So once you get out of those enclosures, it is a little bit of a different world out there. So, but again, just be mindful where you are. Pack light. Don't take your whole kit with you. Decide what you want to shoot for the day. Take a lens and maybe a couple of batteries, but don't pack too heavy that you stand out for that time.
What lens did you shoot at the temple?
Temple, I was also shooting 70-300, and then eventually I ended up 50 mil 1.8 at the end because the light was just getting so bad.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to shoot quite low light and to get them to freeze as much as possible. Yeah.
So not going like that.
No.
Difficult to do flash in situations like that. You don't want these flashes to go off. Now the guys are praying, and you know what I'm saying. So you don't want to intrude. You want to stay almost anonymous out of it and just observe and document what's going on there. Yeah. But again, they were very, very friendly, and we didn't have any issues with any other people. Yeah. Well,
Thank you,
that's
Bernard.
about it. But if there's
Yeah.
any questions, please, guys, shout. I
Yes.
hope I didn't go over too much.
No, it's fine. It's nice to have these chats and exposure. So thank you very much, Bernard. We appreciate your talk and your time that you put into compiling all of this. So it's appreciated.
So yeah, we want to try and do it every month now,
Yeah.
and we'll have a surprise guest speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised.
Okay, so the lanyards. So, like mentioned before, we only made a few. I think everyone here has got their ones. I've got about 4 names. So, anyone else that would like one, please let me know. So we can order more and have more printed. And then some people haven't collected yet, or I haven't seen them yet. So just pop me a message and I can get all of that admin sorted. Okay, outings and workshops. So just again, a reminder, we have tried to get permission as far as possible that we could. So Voortrekker doesn't mind us going there. We just need to supply the photos. But before you just go in anywhere, just find out if you are allowed to. But if more events come up, we will let you know. I just know Hilton Park Run also said, like, if anyone wants to go there and take photos, we are welcome. I must just let him know. So if you guys want to go, just let me know so I can let him know. Okay. Portraiture workshop. How exciting is this? Okay. So I'm just asking after this meeting if we can just pack the chairs and just do make sure that we leave the studio clean, because it will be less work when we come in on Saturday to do. So these are some of the models that are coming. So this Brent, Karabu, Eurisha, Amalia, Sinead, Connor. Okay, yeah, so that's kind of, so just to give you guys like some idea of what we're going to do, there's going to be 3 stations in here. So we're going to have a white one, black backdrop, and then I'm thinking of putting the flower backdrop in this corner here. So Bertie will clean this out. And then we'll have another setup outside. So there will be 3 inside. Everyone will get 10 minutes at each backdrop. But outside, you can take as many photos as you like. So anyone can take photos because you won't need a flash to do that. And then there is bikers coming. So I'll get more to that in a moment. So there's 3 bikers coming. I think we just also need to see like how it will work and where we will place them and who parks where, so we can just see. And then I also asked that no one parks in front of the studio, because I'm planning to have like a little hot dog stand and coffee and tea stand outside. So the idea is to keep the studio as people and clutter free as possible.
Yeah, so we're gonna have the
So we might be able to, yeah. No, what, say again?
the backs, you're gonna have the backs.
We'll decide that on Saturday. Let's just see, like, because there's also people working here, so we just want to see the space, yeah. So, but they're coming, yeah. So I'm just trying to keep the studio as clutter free on Saturday, because there's 2 people shooting per setup. So there's already 6 people, and then there will be like some of us on the inside helping whoever's shooting. So I don't want it too cluttered that there's like all 30 people are inside. Okay. So 15 from Amber, but we are 17, 17 from MCC that's shooting. So then it doesn't include like myself, Connell, Heidi. We won't be shooting, but we'll also be here. So yeah, we definitely more, but they seem quite or Mark, it seemed quite overwhelmed that 15 people were interested. So it is quite nice. And then for anyone online or listening to this again, even though the slots for the studio is booked out, anyone is still welcome to come and shoot outside. So there will be a rotation. We've got 7 models. They will be at a station for half an hour and they will rotate. They've got 2 outfit changes. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity to catch different images. Because the plan was, because we are so many, I don't want 30 people to have one model, one outfit. We all have the same photo. So it's creating this opportunity to have a variety of photos. So I do encourage everyone, like this week, go onto Pinterest and get your ideas. So when you come here, you already know. So whoever's shooting with you, you can alternate and be the one could say, please, could you do this? And she can do it instead of now and ahhing and wasting your own time, if that makes sense. So try and come prepared and have a plan. Okay. Any other questions about this? Yes.
This is going to be single lines. If you shooting, looking for ideas, just bear that in mind.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
It's not going to be 6 lights set up.
Yeah, so it's a one light setup.
One light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
When did you just go through those models again?
So you can't, I already blindly allocated everyone everywhere. So I don't know, but they quite interesting looking. Okay. And then it's for those that don't know and looking for more opportunity to take photos, Kenmo Lake is, I would say, almost ready. So whoever is going through. But I think if you decide to go through to Kenmo, just let everyone kind of know. And maybe like if you've got space in your car, people can carpool together and you can make groups to go. So this is at the moment an unofficial outing. But I mean, if a few people go and there's interest, it can definitely be a great opportunity. And then I realized I haven't had time to fix the slide. Sorry, there was more photos. Okay, then I wanted to, I'll put it on the group this week or maybe tomorrow. And the question was, anyone ready to go camping again in May? Like I am quite ready, but it needs to be viable for us to plan and go. It was great last year. Like to be honest, it was, I think everyone, after we had that camp, no one said, no, I'm never doing that again. It was immediately, let us know when's the next one. It was 700 Rand, which I'm sure we can actually get away with the same fees. It included all the meals except the breakfast, but we had money left, so I could do breakfast as well. So, but we'll just do cereal.
Yeah.
If we get cereal, and that's like,
Discuss that. It's not a problem.
so it's definitely doable, and it's 2 nights. There's a tent with a mattress. You only take your own bedding, your own clothes, and your own camera, basically. Like everything else is there. But I'll put a poll up and we'll see if it's viable.
It is Weenan again that we're talking
Oh
about.
yes, we're going to Weenan, and then also if we're going, Mark Prinsloo said that he will come out and we can discuss like what we want to find out from him, and he will work out like either we go on an outing or he does a bird talk or whatever we want. Like he will prepare something for us, obviously, if we go. Okay. Nana, like mentioned about the bikers, so this 100 riders, they are also part of the organizers of Cars in the Park. And they actually said we should come, because they're coming to our workshop, that we can go to their meeting in, I said June, because to have an outing. And then what they do is every third Saturday they get together and everyone pulls in with their vintage cars and their fancy cars and their toys, if I put it that way. So whatever they feel like bringing that Saturday, that's what they rock up in. So it will also give us opportunity to go there and take photos of different cars, bikes, and so
Already.
yes. Yes. So yeah, it's them. His name is Malcolm. Yeah, and I think it's nice just to do something different and get to know different people. Okay. Then, as you guys know, we're doing the Congress in August, and this is one of the new things that we're launching is the Big V. I don't know, Des, do you want to talk about this, or can I just give an oversight?
Yeah, I think just start getting your stuff ready. It only closes on the 10th of something. June? Is it June?
Yeah, 10th of
Yes,
June.
so please don't start entering now. I know someone did a query and I'm like, don't enter now. Yes, so just start getting all your stuff together and yeah, we're gonna get lovely trophies and prizes and it's gonna be cool. Is that enough?
Perfect. Okay. So just again also, so it's most versatile. So those are the categories as open color, open mono, nature, portraiture, and scapes. So wait till the 5th of June and then you have your photos ready and submit them. We are quite excited about this because this is something different. As Des mentioned before, as the committee, we pick the photos that goes through to the competitions on like for the province or for KZN. We decide on the photos that go through. Here you decide which ones you want to send in. So it will be quite interesting to see. Okay. And then we're asking anyone that could sponsor. We want to do like a little goodie bag. So anyone that has anything to sponsor, it doesn't have to be anything big. It could maybe just be information sheets or business cards or anything like that. If anyone has anything to sponsor, please let me know. And we're also just looking for like a few prizes or something that we can give away just to make it a bit interesting.
Lucky draw sort of thing.
Yeah, like a lucky draw.
On the-
I'm working on 120. I don't like last year there were 77 people, okay? If I look at our club and like if I think of the exhibition where we had like 30 people just from our club, I'm just yeah. So but it could be less, but we'll only be able to confirm a bit closer to the time. We won't be able to confirm that now. So working on 120.
Okay, instance.
We've got lens cloths. Yeah. Okay. Then technical challenge. Paul, are you on the Zoom? Okay, I will do this.
I think he is.
He wasn't feeling.
He wasn't feeling well, so I'll just run through this. Sorry. Okay. So Paul wasn't feeling well, so I'll run through this. So like everyone know, obviously our next one is portraiture. It could be human or animal. Full editing is allowed. The definition, photograph portraiture is the art of capturing the personality, mood, and essence of a person or animal through photography using light, composition, and posing. Okay, so lighting can be studio or natural. So lenses, typically shorter lenses like 35 mils to 85 mils, larger aperture lens, f2.8 or less for minimal depth of field. Okay, so posing the body orientated towards the light, shape with angles, expressions lost. Okay. Very important, pre-plan your shoot. Make your subject feel comfortable. Do not touch your model without permission. I think it's sometimes like so easy just to put your hair here and you do it yourself. Where actually you have to ask permission before touching our models. Also, for example, when our models come on Saturday, I'm going to make them fill a form, like a consent form, just to keep our side of the story clean, because you just never know. Use verbal instructions to adjust the pose. Have fun. This will also relax your model. I also think, like, I've realized people mirror easily what you do. So instead of going like, oh, put your hands up, show them what you mean. Because if you say put your hands up, they're going to do this and not understand. Where if you go, maybe do this, or like show them kind of what you want, it will give them a good idea. We are lucky because these are models coming, so it's easier. Where if it's your cousin or your auntie or someone, it's much more difficult because they don't know how to pose themselves. Okay. So this is just photos that I've used. So this is Vicky, Einand. So this is our animal. Minky. Okay, then the creative challenge. I think I should also just say, when we picked this challenge, I didn't think it was going to be so technical until we started talking about it. Because to me, it looked like a fun challenge. Okay, so it is double exposure. We allowed full editing, and the reason for that is not everyone's cameras can do double exposure in camera. So we had to allow full editing so that people could take 2 photos and overlap them. So it's your choice what you would like to do, but we do encourage, because the idea was to try and do this in camera. So if your camera can do it, please try it. If it can't, try and use Photoshop. Okay, so the definition: double exposure photography is a technique that merges 2 or more images into a single frame, creating surreal, artistic, or blended visual effects. This is achieved in camera by using digital in-camera settings or by stacking and blending layers in post-processing software like Photoshop. Okay, there is a video. What's it called? Okay, I'm gonna skip the video for now, but if there's time at the end, we can definitely watch the video on the guy explaining double exposure. I will also put the video on the group for people to go and have a look at. Quite interesting. Oh, okay. So then after portraiture and double exposure through the window, we'll have layers, action, and sport. Okay. Any questions? Now we can see who's online. Quite a few people. Okay. Any questions?
Good.
Okay. In the studio, we're all good. Days, will you start with the monthlies for us?
Sure, the monthlies, huh? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Can you still hear me good?
100%.
Okay. Oh, wait, I've got technical on top. Let's see, where's be that first? Wait. Monthly. Okay, cool. I am ready.
Okay. Hart van der Linde. Henry Oppel. Not Apple, we're not family. Paul Nudia. Okay. Over to you, Days.
Okay, thank you. Right, back up. 9, 10, 10, 29, silver. This is a great action shot and shows the intensity of the moment. I find that the exposure is really bright and is something that needs to be thought about. The focus on the important part of the image was missed. A good story told, even though the technical challenges are evident. Doozy, 12, 13, 11, 36 gold, Mark Roberts. A great PJ image ticking all the right boxes, action, composition, exposure, and detail. The vests provide a beautiful contrast between the paddlers in the background, which holds one's attention. I like the tight crop and the diagonals of the oars and the kayak. Congrats to the author. Martel Pip, Martel, I don't know. 9, 11, 9, 29 silver. A good effort. The image is not as sharp as it could be. You could pre-focus on a spot on the track and then wait for your subject to get into it and take the image. Try and get your subject a little further into the frame, as here there's a bit too much open space in front of the rider. Where possible, try and isolate your subject. Various methods can be employed: a higher vantage point, waiting for the next tap, waiting for the next lap, take a photo a bit further along the track, etc., etc. No hands, 11, 11, 11, 33 gold, Mark Roberts. A really fun image. The grouping of 3 anchors the story quite well. The lighting challenges due to the time of day are there and I think handled adequately, although lifting the shadows would definitely improve the image. Try cropping some of the bright green grass, even a little off the left edge, to bring more focus on the subject. This one is mine. 10, 12, 12, 34 gold. Alexandra Davy. Good action and story captured. I like the separation between the 3 subjects, so well done on using correct camera settings. Good composition, action, exposure, well handled, and challenging midday light. I like the contrasting colors between the players, which draws the viewer's attention away from a busy background. Consider sharpening a tad in post-processing and dropping the highlights and whites on the blue player and the bright subject top right. Up in the air, 11, 12, 12, 35 gold, Alexandra Davy. Well done on getting this great action shot. Try adjusting your levels to reduce the highlights and lift the shadows. Your histogram does show a good spread, so not a lot is required. Forward motion, 12, 11, 10, 33, Tony Harley. Caught right there in the action, a good sport image with the added bonus of the paddler's full face being shown. To improve, consider a less tight crop if at all possible. It would be good to see the whole paddle and even a little bit more of the front end of the kayak. Witness within, DQ, wrong category. Right, flipped, 13, 13, 10, 36 gold, Vaynant lens. Thank goodness we can't hear the expletives the subject was shouting. Great emotion caught. It's a pity the second paddler's face is a little obscured. Okay, the chase, 12, 13, 9, 34 gold, Vaynant lens. Good sports image with all the action frozen through, good use of fast shutter speed. To improve, I would have loved to have seen the lead swimmer's left hand and the white water very slightly toned down to give the faces more prominence. Show jumping, 12, 11, 10, 33 gold, Terry Byrne. I like the action and perfect timing. Exposure is well handled. The horse and rider are pin sharp. I find the crop tight, which if the rider had been looking at the photographer would have been okay, as it would hold the viewer's attention. Perhaps more space to the left of the subject would improve the composition. I think the right of the photo, the left of the subject, yes. Consider dropping the highlights and whites and toning down the bright signboard in the mid background. Aish looks like trouble. 12, 13, 12, 37 gold, Des van Tonda. Very well framed with great expression on the paddlers' faces. The water dropping from the oars adds to the spectacle. Leading the pack, 11, 11, 10, 32 gold, Leon Hayes. This image has all the necessary dust and grit, even a suggestion of movement in the leading wheel. However, find the bright overpowering and could be toned down substantially. They say bright, maybe they mean white. I love being able to see the front rider's eyes. Waiting for the rain to stop. 12, 12, 12, 36 gold, Dina Adams, sorry. I always say Dina. I like the story, that composition and focus on the subject's very challenging light conditions, well handled, so well done on that. Consider adjusting, dropping the highlight to protect the whites and lifting the shadows, which will bring out more detail and color. Now, how do I fold these wings again? 10, 10, 9, 29 silver. A very well-framed shot. Your ISO was probably a bit too high, resulting in some washed-out whites, and the blacks could be deepened a touch. Have a look at your histogram in brackets. Whilst doing that, also try to get some detail back into the bird's eye, an image that holds promise for better images to come from you. Californian quail, 9, 10, 12, 31 gold, Sandra Comrie. Cute birds with the rear bird pin sharp and beautifully lit. The two birds overlapping makes for an awkward composition, and a bit of separation between the two would increase their strength in this picture. To improve this image, I will reduce the brightness of the grass significantly and even consider cropping the distracting white flowers on the right-hand side. A good crop overall will also reduce the distraction of the busy foreground grass. Grasshopper, 2 words, 9, 11, 9, 29 silver. Although very busy image, this is the widest habitat. I like the curve in the tail feather and the contrast between the black against the green tones. The exposure is well handled, excuse me, with some detail in the blacks and whites. Compositionally, the subject is off center with more space behind the bird. More space in front of the subject would improve the composition. Superb fairy wren, 9, 10, 9, 28 silver. Have a look at the histogram to see why you did not score higher. The blacks are too deep and there is no detail in them. Although there is no motion blur here, consider using a faster shutter speed to compensate with more, I don't know, I can't understand the sentence. Your vantage point is a little high, and whilst I know you can't control where a bit will land you, could try getting a bit lower. I don't know what that means. Overall, I like your image. It just needs a bit more work and planning for more next time. You will get there. Deirdre Cuckoo, 9, 10, 8, 27 silver. The right-hand side of this image is sheer perfection. I love the I need to be fed now beak and the beautifully sharp eye. The distraction behind the head is handled well, but could be toned down even more. Unfortunately, the left half of the image is covered by a green veil that does not suit an image entered into nature category and does not strengthen the image at all. The perch is quite intrusive, and I wonder if the image won't work better as a portrait with everything left of the feet cropped out. Home landing, 9, 10, 10, 29 silver. I like the timing, the action captured with the wings open and one leg up. Well done on that. I find the image very busy with lots of elements competing with the subject. Visually, the nest carries more weight than the bird, not only exposure-wise, but also focus. Consider reversing this in post-processing. Drop the highlights and increasing the shadows. Select the subject and lift exposure. Sharpen the bird, select the nest, and adjust the highlight and exposure. The bird is now the main focal point. Where is my food? 10, 10, 8, 28 silver. There is limited EXF data in brackets. This image is washed out and it has a green cast. These can both be fixed with a curves adjustment. There is potential for better images, but you do need to work on your processing. White-fronted bee eater, 12, 13, 13, 38 gold, Ernest Priest. A gorgeous image with this expertly handled exposure and depth of field. The background is a delight. The composition is particularly strong, and having the models all facing to the left is great. To improve, have a look at the amount of sharpening applied. I feel it could be turned down a little. Almost like a Jason pick. Imperial pose, 10, 10, 11, 31 gold, Heidi Taylor. Jason Taylor. Gosh, well done, Heidi. I like the pose, very regal, and the fact that the bird has space to look into. So well done on that. Competition. Sorry. I got such a tickle. Compositionally, the subject is almost in the center of the frame and has a very large branch competing visually. Consider a tighter crop from the right and bottom, which will place the subject on a third, and also remove at least 40% of the competing branch. Sharpen and lift shadows in post-processing. Gray heron with fish, 11, 11, 11, 11, 10, 32 gold, Terry Byrne. The only downside to this image is that the bird is facing a bit away from the viewer. All else is very well done. Spoonbill, 10, 12, 12, 34 gold, Maxi Holder. A nice study of the spoonbill with the added bonus of a kill. I can't quite see if it's a fish or a tadpole. The pin sharp eye with catchlight is good. I find the bright spot on the bird's left shoulder distracting, and it would improve the image if this was toned down to give the face the attention it deserves. Try cropping some of the foreground to bring some more attention to the bird. Good use of post shutter speed. Excuse me. Spoonbill feeding, 11, 13, 13, 37 gold, Ronald van den Heefer. Beautiful light on the spoonbill, love the exposure and detail on the subject, exposure well handled, very sharp, and the highlight in the eye adds value. Sorry, it should have been a comma there somewhere. Breakfast bee, 12, 12, 11, 35 gold, Carol Phillips. What anticipation in getting that shot. Well done. A couple of minor issues. The action is too low in the frame and sharpness appears not as expected. In the swim, 13, 10, 9, 32 gold, Case Duval. This is what nature images are all about. The story value captured here is phenomenal. A crop to exclude the boat near left edge would bring attention to the jaguar. I would even consider a crop off the top to middle of the tree line. That huge patch of sky draws your eye from the hero of the story. To improve, tone down the brightness from midground to back and look at your white balance. The image appears particularly blue. Master, 10, 12, 10, 32 gold, Case Duval. A very rare sighting of a jaguar in the wild. It makes our leopards look like little pussycats. I love the exposure on the cat, the pose, and the natural frame. Consider dropping the highlights and lifting the shadows, increase contrast and saturation in post-processing, and sharpen the subject. It says master, DQ, DQ. Oh, okay. So was there another master? Or is this the pasop? This must be pasop. Okay. Passop, 12, 10, 12, 34 gold, Case Duval. Such a gorgeous cat, the power accentuated by the low camera angle and dominance of the head in the image. To improve, crop a lot off the right and possible even some off the distracting foreground. This image appears blue and gives an almost moonlit feel. I would correct the white balance. A touch of contrast adjustment makes the cat pop. Right, Scrumptious, 13, 12, 13, 38 gold, Dina Adams. I like the contrasting colors, exposure, composition, and droplets on the petal. Consider a tighter crop from the right and sharpen the subject in post-processing. Wonderful mud baths, 12, 10, 11, 33 gold, Dina Adams. What fun, mostly well processed, but lift your shadows and lights a bit. Try not to cut off any limbs. It's painful for your subject and us as viewers. Overall, well done. Right, Fierce Space, 13, 11, 10, 34 gold, Tony Harley. This macro image is one that takes courage to make. I peeked at your settings and saw the macro lens used was short enough to force you to be uncomfortably close to this fierce creature. I love the great background and the beautiful detail on the in-focus areas. The hairs on the leaf and the body on the wasp are great. Unfortunately, most of the head is not as sharp as the body. Brackets very shallow depth of field, and the leaf obscuring the right feet distracts and leaves an amputated feature. Wait, I'm just blowing my nose. Okay. I spy you, 12, 10, 9, 31 gold, Tony Harley. I like the exposure and the composition and the different colors on the subject. I don't know what that means. There's also present on the base colors. So well done on that. Unfortunately, it appears that the focus is on the base rather than on the face of the spider. Your histogram shows 5.6, which gives a very shallow depth of field. Consider a wide aperture and this allow more of the subject to be in focus.
Sorry, it's a bit quick.
Okay. A jewel, 12, 12, 10, 34 gold, Minky Goodbrand. Well done on getting most of the beetle in focus. Lift the lights on its back to lighten a bit. Watch out for dust spots that drop your score. You could crop a bit off the bottom. Sorry, I got beginnings of a flu, so my nose is going and my throat is going. I've done that one. Oh, good Lord. Satarium orchid. 10, 10, 9, 29 silver. A great record of a beautiful plant. Exposure and focus are on point. The view of the plant could be more creative. Try different angles of attack and creative compositions to elevate the story. About to attack, 13, 11, 10, 34 gold, Ernest Priest. I like the story and action captured with the monkey on the top about to pounce. Although messy, the branches all help to direct one's attention to the two subjects. Exposure-wise, I find the image a bit flat and appears to be in not the most ideal lighting conditions. Consider introducing some contrast and saturation in post-processing. Dragonfly, 10, 11, 12, 33 gold, Rob Hart. I so wanted to award merit, but the upper central blur spot keeps taking my eye from your marvelously captured subject. Green ornament, 13, 12, 13, 38 gold, Des Fantonda. The ornament adds a quirky touch to a pleasing image of a marigold. The colors are rich and the depth of field used to good effect. Try cropping even closer to make the story about the grasshopper. As it stands, it is still a good image. Hilton Daisy, 12, 11, 12, 35 gold, Rob Hart. Immediate impact. I like the play of reds and yellows against the contrasting green background. I like the low angle and the composition of the three daisies in the front, and the main daisy is sharp. However, I feel that the reds in the background do detract from the overall, as this is an open category. Consider cloning out in the background and also the green bud of the bottom in post-processing. I think judges type far too quickly and don't go back and read and edit. Just saying. Right. 14, 13, 14, 41, Rob Hart. Oh, Robert Fly with blue wing snack. Sorry. The score says it all. And that's it. St. Joseph's Lily, 12, 11, 11, 34 gold, Minky Goodbrand. I love the use of the three lilies to create a strong triangular composition. I find the lighting slightly flat and would love to see what some gentle dodging and burning would do to the image. Try darkening the two non-dominant flowers even more to allow the hero flower to shine. Stillness Before Dawn, 11, 13, 13, 37 gold, Nyasha Godoka. I like the conversion to mono in the tonal range. Good composition with a diagonal perch and space in front of the subject to look into. Great exposure with lots of detail in the feathers and detail in the blacks. Consider toning down the gray areas between the legs and the pointy little stick on the branch. Shoot, 10, 14, 12, 36 gold, Bainant lens. Very well captured, processed, and framed. A faster shutter speed would have afforded you a merit. Walking the Dog, 9, 11, 11, 31 gold, Terry Byrne. Superb storytelling. There's so much to see, and the characters are well framed by the trees and the lampposts. The image is a little soft. Try a crop that removes the first tree on the left and the distracting branch. Morgan, 10, 14, 14, 38 gold, Vicky Street. Wow, this is a great model portrait. It ticks all the right boxes. Moody lighting, exposure, sharp, perfect pose, and a beautifully relaxed model looking directly at the viewer. Congrats to the author. Good old Dachaboy, 9, 12, 10, 31 gold, Ronald van den Heerfer. The subject is very well processed, but the handling of the background has caused selection problems on the animal's peripheral fur. A real pity. The Cathedral of Transit, 14, 11, 10, 35 gold, Martin Agius. Amazing. The image screams transit and moving. I feel the more I look, the more I discover. Dainty Beauties, 10, 10, 9, 29 silver. I like the composition of the diagonal placing of the flowers in the frame and the light of the flowers. Unfortunately, and that's where the comment stops. Unfortunately, sorry, it just stops. East Street, 13, 14, 12, 39. J. Nubber. A lovely image capturing the ladies in the shaft of sunlight. The periphery, although dark, does add a sense of place. Well done. The roof is leaking. 10, 10, 11, 31 gold, Marasan Victor. I have a special fondness for photographing mushrooms and fungi. This specimen tells a very interesting story, revealing bits that we don't usually see. The story is well told in the composition and depth of field. Unfortunately, the exposure is a problem. The highlights should be toned down and maybe even a little more contrast added to accentuate the texture on the cap. The droplet hanging by the slimy black threads would make for an excellent macro subject.
All three.
Oh my goodness. Trying to play with the big girls. 10, 12, 12, 34 gold, Les Marchands. I love the story and the drama. There's action, movement, and emotion. Well done on capturing this. Good triangular composition with the viewer's eye drawn to the three faces, lighting well handled in very harsh lighting conditions. Focus is on the small and dog at the back and a little bit soft on the brown dog, which could be improved with selective sharpening in post-processing. Hey, judges. Wait, I'm just going to mute again. Okay, I'm back.
I like this.
Yeah. Nine, 9, 12, 30 gold. Joan Lindiger. Where am I? No, sorry. Defying plausibility. 9, 10, 11, 30 gold, Nyasha Gadoka. Your focusing, timing, and framing are all very good, but your processing let you down. Apply a curves adjustment to increase contrast and make your subject shine. A potentially merit-worthy image. Meat-worthy image. It says meat. A potentially meat-worthy image. I'm sure they mean merit. Dewdrops on deities, I don't know, 9, 9, 12, 30 gold, Joan Lindiger. The concept is good. The depth of field left very little of the flower in focus, and the soft lighting did not bring enough contrast to reveal the beauty of the dewdrops. This type of image would work really well if you were to take it from the side of the flower instead of straight down. Durban Charms, 12, 10, 10, 32 gold, Mark Gordon. Interesting colors, shapes, and lines which blend together nicely, so well done on that. If the intention was to introduce all of the mentioned strong points with very slow shutter speed in the image is a success. I find it very difficult to make sense of the image, but appreciate the effort. Oh, if you can't stand the heat, 9, 10, 11, 30 gold, Nyasha Gadoka. The heat distortion is fantastic. My only criticism is the image needs cropping to the right and a bit off the bottom. Is that a photography shop? 10, 11, 10, 31 gold, Sandra Comrie. This is such a fun and interesting travel image. It needs more people, though. I found the car distracting, and a small step forward will reduce its impact in the frame. Try to lift some of the shadows in the very dark entrance. This is a good memory of a good holiday. Opening to a new day, 11, 10, 12, 31 gold, Joan Lindiger. I like the composition and placement of the water lilies. Exposure is good on the lily. Visually, the two bright pads compete with the main subject. The main flower please slightly soft. Consider sharpening in post-processing and using a mask on the background. Drop the exposure and whites, which will make the lily more prominent. Thirst Quencher, 12, 13, 12, 37 gold, Mark Gordon. A great shot. To capture water, either use a fast shutter speed or much slower to blur it. In this instance, I would have suggested a faster speed, even if you have to increase your ISO with the available light. The ideal would be to add extra light if feasible. Droplets, 10, 10, 10, 30 gold, Avril Janssen. These droplets are really beautiful and exposure is well handled. A good background balances the neutral tones of the droplets. To improve, bring the saturation of the very green stalk on left down a bit and consider using a smaller aperture when photographing similar subjects to maximize depth of field. Elephant Rock, 9, 10, 8, 27 silver. A very strong focal point, this two red towers in the lower left and the elephant rock in the background, which makes difficult composition where visually the reds are far stronger than the rock formation, and the breakwater and doulols also compete for attention. Suggest the following in post-processing. As this is an open category, consider cloning out the smaller tower and its base. Adjust the brightness and whites on the wall, sharpen the image and it appears soft all around. Sorry, I'm back. Just blowing my nose. Wait, next one. Purple petals, 11, 11, 12, 34 gold, Avril Janssen. Lovely bokeh you have captured here. The crop on the left would benefit your image while still retaining much of the bokeh. If a tripod was not used, it would be ideal opportunity to use one, so you could drop your ISO and use a slightly small aperture to increase depth of field. Watching you, 9, 10, 10, 29 silver. Zebras are still willing models and never run out of interesting and sometimes amusing poses. This is not necessarily the most exciting pose. The image is clear and sharp. To improve, consider getting the zebra a little more headroom and tone down the very bright sky. You called 8, 10, 9, 27 silver. I like the rim light around the ears and top of the cat's head, good exposure on the face. However, the whites on the left shoulder appear to be blown out and the focus is on the ears. Suggest correcting the focus and exposure in post-processing. Brown and cream crab spider, 10, 13, 10, 33 gold, John Young. He did well in capturing the spider with his eyes perfectly in focus. It would be great to have even more in focus, which could have been achieved by manipulating your ISO and f-stop, using a tripod, or increasing the available light. A reflector could help you there as long as it doesn't scare your subject away. Dark Roses, 10, 12, 8, 30 gold, Heidi Taylor. The story is laid out quite well. The roses are beautifully sharp and arranged. I think the image would be a bit stronger if the stems were slightly more visible, anchoring the flowers in the image. In this case, lifting the shadows might improve the feeling of darkness the author is trying to convey. Grooming time, 10, 13, 9, 32 gold, Heidi Taylor. Immediate impact, lovely capture of the baby. The tight crop works well, and that it draws the viewer's attention to the eyes and the face of the subject. So good composition. I like the contrast between the baby and the adult, the baby in the light and the adult in shadows. So exposure well handled. For a higher score, considering a bit of sharpening on the subject and toning down the bright light trap bottom left in post-processing. Misty Morning in the Umgeni Valley, 11, 12, 12, 35 gold, Stephen Pryke. A beautiful scene, but the dust spots cost you a merit. West Coast Flamingo, 8, 10, 12, 30 gold, Stephen Pryke. I love the flamingo and also the great reflection. Unfortunately, the image is not at all sharp, and it appears that too much noise reduction may have been applied. The exposure should be toned down a bit, as the bright areas are over bright. Yellow Orchid, 9, 11, 10, 30 gold, Stephen Pryke. I like the portrait crop and the colors of the orchid, so good composition. Unfortunately, the lighting or exposure lets this image down with small areas on the edges of the green petals and the two spots on the yellow on the left, which appears to be blown out and would be almost impossible to correct in post-processing. If this is a set up shot, consider either using a diffuser to soften the light or bounce light source off a wall. Also consider putting a border around the image, which will then place the subject compositionally. Okay, I'm just checking my results. And I've only got one more page, but I think there's lots more to go. Okay. Banksy Undercover, 13-12-12-37 Gold, Vicky Street. I have little to add. This is a great shot. Catching the Bus, 12-12-10-34 Gold, Vicky Street. A superb story, superb story, well told. This panning forced one to focus on the hero, and enough of the passengers are visible to make a very interesting viewing experience. I could only score it higher if the whole front of the bus was sharp. Very good effort, well done. Standing Alone, 10-13-14-37 Gold, Leon Hayes. I like the composition and exposure on the dandelion, the strong points of the sharpness, detail in the water drop, delicately balanced, and the simplicity of the arrangement. That's amazing.
Oh, Leon, how did you get that to stand up? Did you Okay. No, that's well done.
Okay. Next one. Echoes Through the South, 14-13-15. 42, Martin Agius. Wow. Such a well-constructed image with perfect exposure and focus. A deserving merit. That is amazing. Well done. Uh, 2026. Where am I? Here we go. Ode to Miro, 10-12-12-34 Gold, Minky Goodbrand. The perpetual debate around photographing somebody else's artwork will rage on for centuries to come. Here it is resolved in a simple puff of smoke. The sculpture very much reminiscent of a Miro lithograph and is fascinating. I cannot help but look to see if I can see a cat in any of his pictures. This installation does the same and was well photographed. The author has elevated what could have been a record shot to an interesting and compelling image. The smoke and multicolored light helped a lot. I'm not sure about the strong green base, though.
He made it himself.
Okay, next. Ghost Riders, 11-14-12-37 Gold, Leon Hayes. I love the repeating shapes and lines working together to convey a sense of movement. The conversion to mono is spot on with great tonal range across the whole image. Congrats to the author.
Leon.
Next one. Odette and Pose, 10-11-12-33 Gold, Joan Young. Beautiful lighting, giving very soft shadows. Well done. Shah Leslie, 11-10-12-33 Gold, Joan Young. This is a gorgeous and compelling portrait of a lovely model. The soft light works well. I suggest that some effort be made to reduce the shiny spot on her nose. I'm not convinced that the shiny eye makeup matches the rest of the natural look here. Take time to clear up the tiny white spots around the eyes. Swayze the Poser, 13-13-14-40 Des van Tonda. Beautiful portrait of Swayze. The strong points are the composition, the pose, exposure, and focus points throughout the image. Consider lifting the shadows on the floor to help anchor the back legs of the chair, which, as presented, appears to be floating. A simple adjustment could often be the difference between acceptance in a salon and a com. A ladder into oblivion, 13, 12, 13, 38 gold, Martin Agius. Well done on using more advanced techniques. You have done really well. Against the storm, 12, 13, 13, 38 gold, J Nubber. What a majestic scene. Apart from cropping some of the top of the image, there's not much to improve. I could be cheeky and suggest a light in the Lightroom. Insert smiley face here. All right, sunrise at the dam, 10, 11, 12, 33 gold, Les Marchands. I like the softness of the mist rising off the water and the golden glow of the sunrise, where the light is starting to show on the outer edges of the trees. So composition with the trees on the right, pointing to the sunrise is good. Exposure on the sky and water is good. The light area in the foreground does appear to be from a light source. Such lights behind the photographer and competes visually with the sunrise. Consider toning down the highlight a tad to soften the foreground. Time at the mall, 10, 11, 9, 30 gold, Mark Gordon. Well done on trying this technique. You do, however, need an ND filter as you've blown out your highlights. Next time, consider getting more centrally in the area so not all the action is on the right-hand side. You are on the right track, just a bit more practice needed. Snow on Cathkin, 11, 11, 10, 32 gold, Ernest Priest. The snow-covered mountain is well captured and the exposure really good. I found the lack of an interesting foreground a bit of a drawback, and I suggest a crop to just below the shed, bottom left. Well done on a spectacular scene. Cozy walkway, cozy walkway, cozy walkway, cozy beach, cozy beach. I walk away. It's not a beach. I'm getting to the end of my energy. 10, 12, 12, 34 gold, Renal van den Heerfer. Sorry, Renal. Strong leading lines with the jetty straight up to midpoint and the turning to the left pointing to the sunrise, which helps with composition. The strong points are the light reflecting edge of the jetty and the two seats and the soft light and detail on the wooden walkway and the reeds surrounding it. The ends. Junior winner.
The junior winner. Martin, I guess he goes through the south. Senior winner. Robert Fly with blue winged snacks, Rob Hart. Yay.
Yay. Yeah, so
Des,
if you
will you
all
be
want to
okay?
react, do you see Niyasha and everybody's reacting? All these youngsters know this. On your window at the bottom, you'll see react. If you click on that, you can click hearts. There's a heart. You can click, yeah. So there we go. The youngsters know.
Des, will you be okay to read the technical challenge?
She's probably muted and blowing her nose.
Oh, okay.
I'm chatting away to myself. Yes, I'll be fine. I'll just mute when I need to cough or anything.
Okay, so I think we do the technical challenge and then we'll have a 15-minute break where we all can grab coffee. And it will be 15 minutes. Like we're not going to do 7.5 minutes. We're going to do 15 minutes and then we'll carry on with the last two. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay, technical challenge. Meet the judges. Andrew Mays.
Wow.
Wow, indeed.
Oh,
Oh, Jen Young. Oh, okay, we're starting.
Okay. Chasing Rainbows, 11-11. There's only 2 judges, so it's out of 30. 11-11, 22 gold, Martin Agius. A great shot, and you captured the moment nicely. The subject is nicely in focus and framed well by the flags. Nice use of the bokeh effect in both the foreground and background. Perhaps cropping a bit off the bottom and top to bring the subject's face more into focus would improve the image while still keeping some of the nice bokeh effect, but still a pleasing image. Hanging around, 8, 9, 17, silver. The bird is very central in the pic and blurred. The bokeh is beautifully handled, but the bird does not add any value to the picture. Of course, the technical challenge was bokeh, so yes. Petals and pageantry, 10, 10, 20 gold, Martin Agius. A very well seen and captured image. The subject beaming, maybe being hidden behind the umbrella adds a lot of intrigue and leaves something to the viewer's imagination. The umbrella is slightly out of focus towards the right, so perhaps having a bigger depth of field to ensure the entire subject is in focus and cropping off a bit from the left of the image so that the subject is not too centered could improve the result. Very well captured nonetheless. Sweet Company, 9, 9, 18 silver. A lot going on in this picture. All the grasses taking away the magic of the 2 birds, which are unfortunately not sharp or clear at all. The bokeh is lovely and creamy and smooth. Darkening down the brown right side and lightening and sharpening the birds could perhaps enhance the scene. The Empress of Dance, 11, 12, 23 gold, Martin Agius. Very well captured action shot of this Empress dancing. The subject is perfectly in focus and exposed, bringing out the vibrant colors nicely and giving one a feel of the festive atmosphere of the occasion. Perhaps cropping off a bit of the negative space to the left of the dancer could improve the image, but as presented, well done. Weaver, 11-11, 22 gold, Dina Adams. A lovely, pleasing image all round, perhaps a bit of sharpening on the feathers of the bird, but otherwise well seen and handled. Bird in the bokeh, 9, 9, 18, silver. Nice idea for this photo. One doesn't always need to go far from home to get something interesting to shoot. The background is nicely muted with a good amount of bokeh, and the subject stands out nicely. Unfortunately, the depth of focus on the bird is possibly a bit too shallow. The wing closer to the camera is pin sharp. However, the rest of the bird is slightly out of focus. Perhaps try taking the photo again with a narrower aperture to see if this produces a better result. Ten, 11, 21 gold. Oh, sorry, delicate. 10, 11, 21 gold, Tony Harley. Pleasing image, seems a touch oversaturated, but otherwise well handled. Bokeh, just beautiful. Perhaps a crop off the bottom to get rid of the leaf that does not seem to add any value. Into the Night, 12, 12, 24 gold, Jay Nubber. A nice storytelling element to this image. The bokeh in the foreground creates a nice frame, and the silhouette of the 2 men walking down the alley adds a bit of mystery and drama. Cropping a bit off the top of the image slightly to bring a bit more focus to the 2 men could possibly make for a stronger composition, but still very nicely done. Moments of Wonder, 13, 12, 25 gold, Jay Nubber. A moment in time, wow, beautiful capture. Perhaps darkening the bubble on his face and lightening the shadows in his right eye. Touches of dodging and birding on his face could enhance this to another level. Nice work. Soft Prickles, 11, 10, 21 gold, Marathon Victor. Nice composed image of this prickly pear with some good exposure and focus. The bokeh in the background works well and complements the subject nicely. The very bright area towards the bottom left does draw my eye a little, so perhaps try dropping the highlights there to make the image even stronger. Urban Echoes, 10, 14, 24 gold, J Nubber. What a beautiful juxtaposition. At first glance, I thought, oh no, 2 picks. But then I looked again. Definitely a beautiful image. Well seen, well captured, well done. Beautiful. I love it. A prize to display on anyone's wall. I'm back. Wait. Turning the page. A head of flowers. 9918 silver. I like the idea. The contrast of the orange and green works nicely. However, the image is a little bit on the busy side with no real point of focus for one's eye to rest on. Try cropping a bit more off the right and the bottom of the image so that the focus is more on the top flower hanging down in the middle, and see if that possibly improves the composition. Bird Song, 9918 silver. Lovely bokeh here, very colorful. The whites could be toned down a bit. The bird is very blurred and out of focus and seems a bit dark in the picture. Lightening it up with a bit of sharpening could perhaps enhance this. Bokeh Ninja, 10, 9, 19 silver. A nicely created image. The little ninja is well exposed and pin sharp. However, the yellow bokeh in the background is a bit overpowering and does take one's eye's attention away from the subject. Perhaps try and drop the exposure or saturation on the background and see if that maybe makes the image even stronger than it is and the ninja stand out a bit more. Candlelit bokeh, 11, 12, 23, Minky Gold, Minky Good brand. Beautiful bokeh. The candle adds value and just superbly handled. Could just tone down the brightness of the white flame a bit. Delicate fern frond, 10, 9, 19 silver. A well seen and taken photo. The fern frond is sharp throughout and well exposed with a nice bit of backlighting. The background is nicely muted with a decent amount of bokeh. Dewdrops on grass, 9918 silver. A slither of sharpness on the stem onto the grass. The bokeh on the bottom left corner is lovely. Perhaps a portrait crop could enhance this image. Just finding all the wet drops a bit bright and very busy in the picture. Like a fluffy beard, 10, 10, 20 gold, Joan Lindiger. A very pleasing image. Nature photography doesn't always need to be about the bigger animals and birds. Sometimes the small stuff also make good images. The focus and exposure is well handled, and the branch is growing. It's growing in, adds an extra bit of interest to the image, making for a well-balanced composition. Perhaps cropping a bit off of the top or the bottom of the image so the plant is not so central could produce a better result, but very well done. Rainy Days, 12, 9, 21 gold, Mark Gordon. A nice colorful image. I like the bokeh on the bottom left and the brightness of the colors. Perhaps you could tone down the whites on the right bottom corner. Ooh, screwed bokeh. 12, 9, 21 gold, Minky Good brand. A very well thought out and taken image. The black and white conversion works nicely and being very well handled. The bokeh in the background also works nicely. I think perhaps making use of the rule of thirds could make the composition a bit stronger. Maybe try cropping a bit off the bottom of the image so that the focus is more on the actual screws, but still keeping a bit of the nice reflection in the foreground as it adds a bit of interest. Oh, I like that. Tui, T-U-R. Tui? Tui? I don't know. 10, 10, 20 gold, Sandra Comrie. Colorful tones here. The bokeh is lovely, but very busy image. The busy flowers, the bird's head needs to be lightened. It seems a bit dark. Highlights on the head and white patch under the neck and just below the wing. Perhaps a tighter square crop could eliminate all the busyness. Autumn is here, 9, 10, 19 silver. Some nice autumn colors captured in the photo with a nicely muted background. I think the depth of focus has perhaps counted against this image. The leaf on the bottom left is nice and sharp. However, the main point of interest in this image is the 3 orange and yellow leaves in the middle, which are all appearing a bit soft. There's still a very nice autumn feel to the image. Berry bokeh, 10, 10, 20 gold. These will keep it weight. Sorry? Oh, nice
No,
bokeh. Perhaps lightening up the red berries in the darker patch of bokeh below it and darkening some of the bright bokeh around that darker patch could make a more impactful image. Pasta sauce ingredients, 9, 10, 19 silver. A very good still life photo. The 3 ingredients are nicely in focus. I think what is letting this image down is a bit of lighting. The bright bokeh in the background is a bit distracting and does tend to draw one's attention away from the subject. There are also some shadows on the tomato and pepper, which are causing a bit of loss of detail. Maybe try this composition again if possible and see if adding a bit more light from the front and dropping the highlights in the background could possibly make for better results. Backlit, 9, 10, 19 silver. The bokeh is very present as per subject. I found the conversion to black and white does not add to the value of the picture, finding it a bit hard to define the subject against the bokeh. Budding bokeh, 10, 10, 20 gold, Heidi Taylor. Very nicely done. The contrast between the green and the purple throughout the image works quite well. And the water droplets with the reflections add a good amount of interest to the image. Perhaps a bigger depth of field could have resulted in a stronger result though. So the entire little flower was nice and sharp as a foreground with the water droplets in. Gora, is that how you say it? Gora and Bug, 9, 9, 18 silver. Seems like there is a blue color cast on the white flower. I found the sunlit bokeh a bit too bright against the dark shadows. Dodging and burning, dodging and burning could enhance this image. Late night coffee, 9, 10, 19 silver. Good composition in this image with the nice use of the rule of thirds. The bluish background with the bokeh also gives the image a very nighttime feel. The focus on the cup is a bit on the soft side though, which perhaps has counted against the image, and the bright hot spots on the tabletop just beneath the cup are a bit distracting, but a very creative storytelling image nonetheless. Orange Gerbera, 10, 12, 22 gold, Joan Young. The bokeh has been well handled and meets the brief, although good choice of subject matter. The intentionally blurred flower appears to have halos around some of the petal edges. I don't know who did Joan's, I think Shirley Swingler, maybe Judge Joan's images. I can't remember.
Yes, I think you're correct.
Yeah. Pink hibiscus, 12, 12, 24 gold, Joan Young. Some nice impact in this image with the contrast between the pink of the flower against the green background. The main stem of the flower is nicely in focus, and I like the fact that the petals blend into the background slightly. I also like that you have broken the normal rules slightly and left some negative space to the right for a nice creative composition. Well done. Run, 10, 10, 20 gold, Vainant lens. A pleasing subject, relatively sharp, perhaps lighting up his face a bit to see his eyes and darkening down the background could balance it out a bit more. Succulent rose bokeh, 1212, 24 gold, Joan Young. A very well handled image of the succulent plant. The shallow depth of field has worked well in this instance, with the center of the succulent plant nicely in focus, and then dropping off towards the edges, blending into the background, creating a very pleasing effect. Perhaps dropping the exposure slightly towards the left of the image to get rid of the slightly distracting bright spots in the background could improve the image. I really enjoyed this image though. Sunshine Yellow, 1111, 22 gold main lens. Yellow, yellow everywhere. A few bright highlighted spots on the sunflower could be darkened down a bit, and a bit of a tighter crop could perhaps enhance the impact. Mushroom, 911, 20 gold, maxi holder. Very nice composition in this image. The mushroom, along with the little bit of bark in the foreground and the nice bokeh in the back, make for a very well-balanced photo. A nice leading line with the stem of the mushroom drawing one's eye towards the cap. To improve this image, perhaps try cropping a bit off from the top and bottom slightly to get rid of a little bit of negative space and draw the focus more towards the actual mushroom to see if that makes the result even better. Okay, where are we? Lazy Days. 911, 20 gold, Vicky Street. Lucky you get this to get this pic. Bokeh is nice. Highlights on the top of the head and going down the right side of the fox are very bright. Also, the highlights on the log are very bright. You could darken these areas a bit to improve, but otherwise a lovely capture, special moment. Nature's Charm, DQ, outside of date range. Snowy Owl, 1010, 20 gold, Vicky Street. Lots and lots of soft, dreamy bokeh. Just think it is overpowering the lovely sleepy owl in the background. Chili bokeh, 910, 19 silver. A little still life attempt, some very nice bokeh in the background, and the red chili stand out nicely against the background. However, I think the focus has unfortunately let you down in this image. Only the tip of the middle chili and the leaves on the top are properly sharp. If possible, please try the shot again with a smaller aperture to get a bigger depth of field on the chilies. Fly and bokeh, 11, 12, 23 gold, Des Van Tonda. Nice catch on the fly. Cropping this image in so one could see the fly could enhance the overall image. The front bokeh is soft and dreamy, and the top leaf in front of the fly is nice and sharp. It's raining, 11, 10, 21 gold, Des Van Tonda. A nice picture of a not often photographed bird. These doves can make just as good subjects as any bird in the game reserves. The bird is pin sharp and the gate post is sitting on with the rain in the background, and one water droplet on the post adds a nice bit of interest to the image. As an improvement, if possible, maybe try a more portrait crop, leaving a bit more of the actual post in. Compositionally, portraits are sometimes more effective if you have vertical lines in the image. Itsy Bitsy Spider, 10, 12, 22 gold, Des Van Tonda. Fabulous, dreamy, soft bokeh. Cropping this picture to a portrait frame could enhance this image and make it pop. And then you would also see a closer up shot of the cute Itsy Bitsy. Taken at the doozy with my 6600 lens. Just saying. Red Sprig bokeh, 9, 10, 19 silver. Some good impact in this image with the contrast of the red flower against the green background. The flower is a bit central in the image. To improve, try and crop some of the negative space or from the left of the image and see if that maybe makes for a stronger composition. The white bokeh in the background does also compete a bit with the subject, so maybe drop the highlights down a bit and see if that makes the nice flower stand out a bit more. Stream flow bokeh, 9, 10, 19 silver. Definitely that is a stream, lots of white bokeh, could be burnt down to soften the whites. Cropping in the picture much tighter where you just see the one yellow flower and the bokeh could make for a more pleasing image. The Crown Shadow, 12, 9, 21 gold, Carol Phillips. A very effective still life photo, nice creativity shown, almost gives the feeling of a family portrait with the king and the queen and the little pawn. The pink background with the bokeh also gives a nice calming feel to the shot. As an improvement, perhaps try and crop a bit off the right of the image so the chess pieces aren't so central, and see if that improves the overall composition. A Weaver in a Bokeh World, 9, 11, 20 gold, Leon Hayes. Nice big soft bokeh, perhaps darken down the bright white ones. Bird is nice and sharp, just find the tail a bit blurred and could be darkened down. Tail a bit blurred, maybe bright. I think the word is bright and could be darkened down a little. Against the Light, 11, 10, 21 gold, Leon Hayes. Very nicely taken photo with a mix of autumn and summer colors. The subject is nicely in focus throughout, and the exposure is nicely muted, is well handled, giving some separation between the leaves and the background. Delicate Damsel, 9, 12, 21 gold, Leon Hayes. Lovely, soft, delicate picture. The damsel is beautifully sharp, the bokeh soft and dreamy. Burning down the orange bit spot on the bottom left corner and making a square crop could enhance this image.
Okay, junior winner. Moments of Wonder, Jay Nova.
Well done, Jay.
Senior winner. Pink Hibiscus, Joan Young.
Well done, Joan.
Okay.
There were
Okay, so
a few photos, just to say there were a few photos that had the same score, and then Terry sent them to me and I chose the winner. So Joan didn't choose her own picture as a winner. Okay, know that.
thank
Well
you,
done.
Jess. Okay, so it is 17 minutes past 8. We will be back at 2 minutes past half past. I don't know how to say that. At 32 minutes past, we will be back. I just want to see you still here. Everyone's sleeping.
I'm going to pause recording.
I think that's everyone. Okay, we're back. Creative challenge. Meet the judges. Jane Bailey. That this mono palette. Oh, that's quite sweet.
Okay. Wait, where are we going?
No, no,
Oh,
this is
you
the
got
judges' photos.
okay. And
Oh, she just missed our challenge.
yeah.
Oh, and Terry Byrne. Oh, okay.
Crimson Skeletons, 12, 13, 25 golds, Martin Agius. An interesting composition, good exposure and leading lines that draw your eyes through the composition. The Dark Side of the Fretboard, Martin Agius, 12, 10, 22 gold. A nice try, but I feel the black guitar against the totally black background is slightly missing the point of the challenge. I think the picture would have stood out more if there'd been shades of lighter and darker grey background. Also, a thin light border would have improved this image. Autumn, 10, 9, 19, silver. The colors around the insect work well together. The prime subject is in focus, however, the surroundings are washed out. Grassy green, 11, 11, 22 gold, Dylan Evans. I think that you have understood the remit well here, with your two twin stalks of grass as the subject and everything in shades of green. It is just a pity that the twin grass stalks that are the subject were not a bit sharper. Still a nice try. Let Me In, 12, 10, 22 gold, J Nubber. The composition is good and leads your eye to the doorway where the person is waiting to be allowed in. The color palette is well handled. Peppered in Green, 11, 9, 20 golds, Leslie Marchand. Having lots of single colored objects fill the screen is technically meets the remit of mono palette, but doesn't necessarily make for a very interesting picture. Perhaps if you had placed some of the peppers in a green bowl or mixed some other vegetable in, it might have made a more interesting picture. Just give this to Jonathan. Red onions, 12, 10, 22 gold, Leslie Marchand. The shape of the onions forms a good composition. The contrast makes the image pop. The focus on the onion on the third forms a good point of focus. Seasons Past, 10, 12, 22 gold, J Nubber. Nicely done with various shades of rust and brown and some interest in your subject through the opening in the door and staring back at the camera. You have done well with making your palette a single color with shades of brown, and the outer focus areas to either side of the gap draws the eye through to your subject. Well done.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to wait as well.
Mhm.
Brown palette, 13, 13, 26 com, Minky Good brand. The image is sharp and crisp. The lighting is well handled and adds to the impact of the image to the viewer. Well done. Foliage DQ out of date range. Matchstick flower 11, 12, 23 gold, Sandra Comrie. To place the flower on the diagonal makes a good impact. The background complements the flower and makes the image more dramatic. Mono leaf 12, 11, 23 gold, Sandra Comrie. Nicely done, although I suspect there may be more than one leaf here. Your mono palette of green from very light to dark green has worked well, with the skeleton of the leaf providing an interesting pattern. Purple DQ'd out of Dave's range. Rhino palette 11, 10, 21 gold, Minky Good brand. Another green palette, which meets the requirement for mono palette, although the story here is a little confusing and doesn't really make for a very appealing picture. For the technical and creative challenges, not only do you need to meet the remit of the challenge, but the picture needs to stand as a good and interesting picture, telling an interesting story as well. Sadly, this one does not. Ripe grapes, 10, 10, 20 gold, Joan Lindiger. The grapes against the lighter background works well together. Maybe a greater depth of field would have made the image pop. Spent orchid on vintage lace, 10, 13, 23 gold, Joan Lindiger. Really nicely done with soft and very gently, with a soft and very gentle, oh goodness me, with a soft and very gentle look with the shades of white and creams through to yellow. Ticks all the boxes, simple and very effective. Purple is good, 12, 11, 23 gold, Liesel Cupithwaite. The color and compositions work well together and make good impact. Sorry, I just need to move this down a bit.
I realized I didn't give you the mouse, sorry.
That's okay. Sorry, let me start that again. The color and compositions work well together and make a good impact. A tighter crop will help to make the image stand out. To improve the image, you need to clean up the background too. White rose, 9, 9, 18 silver. I think that this is meant to be high key, but I find the lighting to be a bit too harsh, and most of the picture is close to being blown out, with not much subtle variations of the white, meaning I can't see any of the details in the flower petals. Perhaps if you tone down the lighting a touch to give some subtle variation on the petals, it would enhance this picture. Green butterfly leaf, 11, 9, 20 gold, Heidi Taylor. The 3D effect makes this image stand out. I like the sharp droplets, which make for a good point of interest. Try burning the bright areas to reduce the distraction they cause. Green curves, 11, 10, 21 gold, Heidi Taylor. At first glance, the fact that nothing was sharp worried me a little, but on reflection, this is a creative challenge. It doesn't necessarily need to be sharp. The various shades of green and the curves provide a pleasant image. Again, I think a very fine light border would enhance this image. Shades of pink, 11, 11, 22 gold, Joan Young. The shades of pink work well together for this theme. Good use of depth of field, making the flower bottom right in sharp focus. As a suggestion, try rotating the image to horizontal format for a more restful feeling. Striped eyes, 13, 8, 21 gold, Bainant lens. The bee and the flower provide quite a striking yellow and brown image, but the large outer focus area in the foreground and similarly large outer focus area in the background are just too hard to ignore. If these outer focus areas had been cropped off into a portrait mode picture, it would have made a far better image. Surrounded by yellow, 12, 9, 21 gold, Bainant lens. The color palette works well in this image. The bee is sharp and creates the focus point. Pink, pink, Tracy Rhodes, 12, 12, 24 gold. Very nicely done. The shallow depth of field has meant that only a part of the flower is in focus, but it is the part with all the important details, and the rest of the picture is just soft and pretty. Very delicate and soft and very pretty. True blue, 11, 12, 23 gold, Tracy Rhodes. The lighting used in this image was well done and makes the blue pop. The foliage is a bit disturbing to the eye. Sitting pretty, Maxi Holder, 11, 9, 20 gold. Yes, it is a mono palette with shades of yellow and gold, so it does comply with the remit, but there is not really enough to make the picture very interesting. As I stated earlier, it does not meet, sorry, hold on. It does not meet the remit of being a mono palette, but a 5-star level I would want. It does meet the remit of being a mono palette, but at a 5-star level, I would want a bit more than that to score higher. Pink palette, 11, 12, 23 gold, Des Fontonda. The form and shape of the flower forms a lovely picture. To improve the image, try dodging the left bottom third to bring out a bit more of detail. Dreamy, 14, 12, 26 com, Leon Hayes. Very pretty image with soft focus with shades of white and subtle colors from the flower. Perhaps it is not strictly mono palette because there are shades of both yellow and blue, but they are very subtle. I'm sorry, me again. Shy Daisy, 13, 13, 26 com, Leon Hayes. An interesting way of photographing a flower. All the elements are there, making this a soft, moody image. Well done. Junior winner, Brown Palette, Minky Goodband, brand. And senior winner, Shy Daisy, Leon Hayes.
Just while I'm handing this out, thank you to Fainan and Jason for this printing for us. We appreciate it.
Which one are we now? Close it in.
Yeah.
KZN Interclub, which is the through the window. Chocolate Party, 9918 silver. The image is well exposed. The photographer has attempted to bring the ambiance to the viewer. Unfortunately, there are disturbing elements in this image. For example, the items in the bottom of the image that distract from the story. Perhaps moving to a position where the person behind the counter's head is not bisected would improve the overall impact of the image. Happy to be on my way home. 11, 10, 21 gold, Dina Adams. Your subject is nice and sharp with a nice smile. The picture is clearly taken through the window because I can see part of the frame. To improve the story, you probably needed to expand your selection to see more of the surroundings in order to add more context to the story. As it is just a picture of someone through a window, but good enough for a 1-star for a gold. Pantanel windscreen, 8, 9, 17 silver. It's a good storytelling image. The cattle are moving up the road, probably homeward bound. The problem with taking a photograph through the windscreen of a vehicle is that it generally makes the image soft, especially if there is dust around. I would suggest to crop the image, taking out most of the dull gray sky, as this does not add to the image. Try increasing the contrast to make the image pop. Parallel Realities, 10, 11, 21 gold, Martin Agius. I'm not sure if those people are technically on the other side of the window or if this is a reflection, but the story is nicely told and framed by the window. Nicely done. Rio from Hotel, 8, 9 silver, 17 silver. This is a typical holiday memory shot. The view of the curved beach gives one the feeling of the crowded beach. The Hand of Commerce, 9, 13, 22 gold, Martin Agius. Very clever use of a combination of through the window and reflection to create a lovely complex story. I don't know exactly what the story is, but it is intriguing. Very nicely done. Tobeka, 11, 10, 21 gold, Gina Adams. A well-framed portrait. The image is sharp and colorful. The subject makes contact with the viewer. Through the Windshield, 10, 10, 20 gold, Martin Agius. The author is clearly inside the vehicle and there is a story happening outside the window with the stop and go signs. I just wish we could see a bit more of the details of the story. I keep searching for what that could be, but I can't find anything. Chendu Dong, 12-12-24 gold, Jainaba. An interesting photograph that uses the chiaroscuro effect, using extreme contrast between light and shadow to give it an almost 3D effect. Hats and glasses, 10-12-22 gold, Jainaba. Very well composed with the three subjects all wearing similar hats and glasses and the three heads forming the diagonal across the picture. Interesting story and very well executed. Ho Fleet window, 11-10-21 gold, Jainaba. Well seen and photographed. The oval window in a square formatted image works well to define the window. To improve the image, try improving the contrast. Nose looking good. 12-10-22 gold, Leslie Marchand. Those slots in the wall are very definitely the dog's window to the world outside. Perhaps if you had taken a step back so that it was not quite so tight, it would make the story a bit more dramatic. Details are nice and sharp. There is a world out there. 11-9-20 gold, Leslie Marchand. A good storytelling image. The image is sharp and well exposed. Get this down here. Okay, what is going on out there? 11-12-23 gold, Leslie Marchand. Now that's what I'm talking about compared to the picture 2 previously. By stepping back and showing more of the wall, the dog standing in the slot in the wall makes for a much more dramatic story. Nice composition, details are sharp, very good story. A view for lunch, 9-8-17 silver. I think the intention of the photographer was to convey the view from the dining table through the window to the view outside. This has not worked well because the white object on the outside is not in focus. Arriving by train, 9-9-18 silver. A very interesting looking building, but other than what looks like some reflection on parts of the picture that may make it a bit messy, there is no frame or part of any window to put this picture in context, i.e. it doesn't really look like it's through the window. Cape Town from the island, 10-11-21 gold, Nyasha Godoko. A framed picture of Table Mountain that is well exposed. Unfortunately, the clouds obscure the well-known view of the mountain that defines Cape Town. Try increasing the contrast to give the photo a bit more punch. Curious, 10-11-21 gold, Nyasha Godoka. I love the very minimalist story here, well spotted. I would like to see the exposure on the bird lifted just a little bit, and perhaps the bird could be a tad, well, sorry, here we go. Where am I? There we are. A tad sharper. I'm in two minds about whether it could do with a very thin light frame or if it is better just the way it is. In any case, nicely done. Frozen landscape, 10-10-20 gold, Minky Goodbrand. A really abstract image. It is good that the background is out of focus as this emphasizes the frozen object.
Oh, and I think you go up a little bit. Okay, click now. Here you go.
I see you, 9-9-18 silver. I guess the eyes of this insect could be seen to be the window to the soul, if insects have souls, but for me, they are not big enough part of the story. I'm not sure if this picture might have done better in a different category. Mealtime, 10-11-21 golds, Sandra Comrie. The action is good and well captured. The exposure has let you down. Morphing in a cocoon, 7, 8, 15 silver. I don't see enough in this picture to meet the through the window criteria. On the technical front, it also doesn't quite make it. A very shallow depth of field doesn't help. Something with your coffee, sir. 10, 10, 20 gold, Mark Gordon. It tells you a bit of a story, all nicely in focus. The posters on the right does not add to the image and can be cropped out. Through the window, 10, 9, 19 silver. The story through this window is not much to write home about. The story is more about the broken window hanging off to the side, but you have not done enough to tell this part of the story. Perhaps if you had stepped back a bit to see the whole of the window and broken window, it might have had more impact. Timeless. 8, 11, 19 silver. Interesting use of a very shallow depth of field. Under mother's protection, 12, 9, 21 gold, Nyasha Gadoka. I know you have used the mother's legs to create a frame for the baby zebra, but that doesn't quite do it for me as a window. I also think that the conversion to mono has left the picture a bit dull. Perhaps lift the exposure and contrast for a bit more impact. Window upon window, 11, 11, 22 gold, Minky Goodbrand. Slightly abstract image and the flames left and right draw the eyes away from the subject. A tighter crop would something the message. Choo Choo, 11, 9, 20 gold, Liesel Cupithwaite. I understand that technically this picture is taken through the window, but the scenery through the window is just a bit boring. I feel that perhaps if the scenery was extended to include more to the left of the picture, it would have made for a more interesting picture. As it is, there's a very narrow strip of scenery that is not at all that exciting. I also feel that the exposure could be lifted a bit, particularly on the hills, but without blowing out the clouds. Girl in the window, 12, 11, 23 gold, Liesel Cupithwaite. This is a clever use of the conversion to mono and works really well. It has a full tonal range. I think a slightly tighter crop on the right side would concentrate the focus to the girl and window frame. Reflections, 10, 8, 18 silver. I could go with using reflections as through the window, but sadly the reflections have nothing of interest to show us. Just a bit more red brick walls and some doorways with nothing in them. Exposure is good and the wall is sharp, but sadly there's no story to tell. Mika, 13, 12, 25 gold, Joan Jung. Very strong image with high visual impact. Clever use of the two panes of the window to convey the story. Well done. Odette looking out the window. 12, 10, 22 gold, Joan Jung. I suspect it is the same author of the previous image. And whilst I found the previous picture sweet and nicely done, I find this image just a bit too staged and unnatural. Composition is good, exposure is good, but for me, it just doesn't quite work. Hub through a portal, 12, 8, 20 gold, Heidi Taylor. Unusual use of a round frame, well seen. Exposure spot is exposure spot as is the composition. Okay, well, there was a word missing perhaps. Maybe, yeah. Okay, I am there.
Oh.
Right. Sorry, I'm jumping around here. A window into another world. 9, 7, 16 silver. Whilst I imagine that wherever this is, the scenery was quite spectacular, it hasn't worked that well as a photograph. The detail of the town or city is not great, and the distant mountains are lost in a haze. It's a pity because I think it could have been quite good. behind bars, 8, 6, 14 silver. The animal's whiskers draw the attention away from the overall scene. Couture, 8, 9, 17 silver. This hasn't worked out quite as well as I think you might have expected. The plants in front of the window and the writing on the window itself have taken focus away from whatever is on the other side of the glass. All I can see through this window is some out of focus clothing on a rack, and that doesn't tell much of a story. Daydreamer, 11, 13, 24 gold, Vicky Street. This image invokes emotion on the viewer. Very good use of soft focus to convey the message. The reflection in the glass of the window of the lady gives the image an ethereal feel. A hole in the head, 10, 11, 21 gold, Leon Hayes. The story on the outside wall is fabulous. The story through the window, a bit less so. I understand that you wanted to capture the face graffiti on the wall, but in doing so, we can't see much of what is on the other side through the window. It looks like there is more graffiti on the inside. I wish we could see more of it. Great picture, though. Weathered, 12, 11, 23 gold. Leon Hayes, well executed photograph. The train driver is well framed and adds to the success of the image. Wendy in the window, 13, 13, 26 calm. I love it. Nice and moody and quite minimalist. Well done. Leon Hayes. Sorry. Junior winner is Chen Dudong, Jainaba. And the senior winner, Wendy in the window.
Yay. Oh, wait, on the thingy. Oh, this one, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and that concludes the results. Any questions? No. Nothing. Okay, I think we're done. Anyone online want to ask any questions?
All good.
Okay, I thank you. Okay, good night. Please go home, everyone.